and welcome to the first edition of the new season. Yes, in a supreme demonstration of weapons grade stupidity, I have driven 3,000 kilometers south to the end of Spain, caught a ferry 35 hours over to Lanzarote. That's what I've done, yeah. And today I'm going to be fishing this here water in front of me. And there's roughly about 30 meters of water there. And I've got a medium heavy rod and some of the jigs I made at the end of last season. I'll introduce you to the gear and everything else right now in a second, okay? And then we're going to get a cast in the water. So first of all, I'm going to walk you through the gear, right? So today I'm going to be fishing with a new reel. I don't know how it's going to work out. It was pretty cheap. I got it in AliExpress. Don't run out and buy one just yet. I'm going to do a review on it in the future. It is ridiculously cheap. And most likely it's a bunch of crap, so I have one of my trusted reels with me just in case this one is a win that monster. Yeah. So it is, in actual fact, a Cast King Magnetron. Yes, it thinks it's some kind of transformer. Has to be good, right? And it's loaded with 35-pound mainline, and it's got a 50-pound fluoro mono blend leader and a 90-gram needle jig, which I have produced, painted, coated, the assists, the lot, all produced by my fair fingies. And the rod is the Abu Salty style, yes, just over 10 feet long, and it is 30 to 100 grams, right? And before I get started, let's talk about the water, right? First of all, I'm fishing on the east side of the island because of the weather, basically. I got here about 2 days ago and it's just been blowing like crazy and lightning and bleh. Yeah, so out in front of me here there is anywhere between 20, 30 to 40 meters of water. And I believe I can reach the 40 meters of water with my new jig. So let's get a cast in the water and see if we can get a first cast fishy. Yeah, for the first time this season. Up me head you go. Well, it's got a nice clicky drag anyway. Billy approved, apart from the let's see if it casts or not. So I'll just give you a better look at the jig, right? So this is my new needle jig, yes. It is UV paint and the stamping stuff that I usually do, and twin assists, also UV. And because everything around here has got teeth, whether you make it out, that assist cord is actually Kevlar, right? And I think it will deal with most type of mackerel-y type fish and possibly even a barracuda, right? And this is something I'm trying. It's a little flasher for the end. So we're going to give this a shot. We're going to cast it out into the sea way over there and see if it gets me a fishy. And let's hopefully this reel doesn't give me a horrible wind knots. Right, I got my net ready because it's rather a long way down actually. I would say about 3 meters. If I don't have to scramble down, that's all the better. So we just let that sink down into the depths and hopefully Poseidon is good to me. It has hit the bottom. Right, let's see if it's first cast fish. Now the retrieve is always the same for either a slow jig or a fast jig from the shore. They do not work the same way as they were designed for boats, not for this type of fishing. So what they have is just a different action. One will sink faster than the other, and this is the one that sinks faster. So it's great for fishing in really deep water. I don't want to lose it first cast, so I'm going to crank it up here. We get it down again. Must be a fish out here for me somewhere. That'll get their attention anyway. So we let that shoot down. Okay. So far so good with the reel. But I didn't fill the spool all the way up. So it's still early days yet. Just dropping it off the spool makes the fish a bit quicker. They're not flutter jigs, it's like slow jigs, so the name of the game is to get as many drops as you can. Just winding in as fast as I can, just to avoid this, the riprap and the snags around the edge of this pier. So it's forbidden to fish on the interior of any harbour here in the Canary Islands. Just a bit of trivia. And apparently you get big fines for it and stuff like that. And anyway, the only thing in there is mullet and small bream. So, and maybe some barracuda and stuff like. But you get all that out here too. And more. That's the point. And more. And you get the access to the deeper water. That's a good one, that one. Yes. So it's a little bit over 100 meters of a cast I'm getting here. Let that one shoot down. Right. Now if anybody's wondering why I'm going so heavy, is because right now is the start of the bluefin tuna season here, and there'll be all sorts of other types of fish all in to eat the same fish that they are. If I hook into a small tuna, maybe I will stand some type of chance of landing it with this rather than a 60 gram rod, right? And an even smaller reel. This is a 5,000, but a fairly big, decent size for a spinning reel anyway. With a 35 pound line, that'll handle a fish all the way up to 100 pound, no problem. As long as he didn't bite you off. So I've been giving the shore marks a look. The access to deep water around here is very slim pickings. You're lucky if you can find 10 or 15 meters just casting from the rocks. There are fish in there. That's plug territory, not jig territory. So if you're going to be jigging, try and find the deeper water or use a smaller jig. 20 or 30 gram jig, you'll be able to fish there very well. And I do have some with me. Most of the small fish, just like anywhere else in the world, are in around the edges where they feel safer. And the bigger guys, well, they're in the deeper water. And especially places like this where the smaller fish feel a little bit safer. The bigger fish also feel safer because the proximity of the deep water, and there is an off chance that you might catch something truly special. Let that shoot down. The depth of water out here is amazing. It's just like in Norway. In fact, I actually haven't looked. I would imagine it's pretty much the same as the Med. Depth anywhere up to 1,000 meters of water. In fact, we'll have a look at the app so you can get a better idea of what we're working with here. Need a break anyway. Okay, I'm going to go through a few little things I think I will find handy on this trip. It's something I really don't usually bring with me because I generally don't deep hook fish, but around here with the barracudas and all the rest of it, keeping your fingers away from the mouth of the fish I think is possibly a really good idea. So I brought my long trusty kind of pike pliers, I suppose you call them, or something. I've seen pike anglers use them. I have a pair. I have one of everything, as they say. So we'll have a look at that app. So I'm going to take a little break and we're going to have a look at the app, because these rods and these jigs, they get heavy after about an hour and a half, 2 hours of constantly casting. The shoulders begin to feel it, the neck and everything else, right? So up my head and we'll see if we can see what the water's like for thee. Here I am anyway, that little cursor there. This little black circle here is where I am right now. And it shows how far along the pier I am. So this is the app here. If you want to know what it's called, just ask in the comments, right? And the way this works is you just press this little plan, it says, you press that measuring tape there and it gives you this little cursor. Then you zoom in to where you want to fish, for instance here, right? You press the little arrow and you drag it out like that, and it will show you how far you have to cast to reach what type of water. And so within 97 meters you're into 37 to 40 meters of water. That's it there. And if you can only get 70 meters, you're into 20 meters. Actually, just a lob there. 40 meters, you're into 24 meters of water. Fantastic, right? So this is one of the tools I use to pick the water where I'm going to fish. Yes, Fantastic. So I just want to see what kind of water we're actually working with in an overall sense. Say all the way out to 1,000 meters. Out there about 500 meters offshore, you get 1,000 meters of water. For most types of fishing, that's just like nonsense. Most of the fish are in around the edge where the food is. You can see that continental shelf, or these islands were created by volcanoes, and this is the rift that they have created in the middle of the sea. And it's this edge here that attracts all the fish, because all the bait fish and everything else get funneled in, pushed up against the shores by the tides, and the tuna and whatever else come in to feed along there. There's marlin here, there's wahoo, there's all sorts, mahi, they all come through these straits at some time of the year. And apparently now and in the autumn is the best times to be here, depending on what you want to catch, of course. Okay, enough of app time with Billy. That was a nice cast, about 120 meters or so. Let that shoot down. Let's see if it gets me a fish. Yeah, I think it might be into fish. Yeah, there's definitely something on it, alright. Yeah, we got fish. Just that much line out, can't really tell. And take off now at the last second. Turtle. There we go. Oh, we have got a fish. The first one. Oh, it's not a lizard, is it? Of course it is. A lizard fish, right? That's the first catch in the Canaries, right? A lizard. I mean, talk about hungry. Look at the size of that hook. That's a hell of a hook, buddy. I mean, you gotta give him points for committing, right? The jig is half the size of him, right? And of course, if you catch a big one, you can probably eat them. He seems to be relatively unharmed, apart from the giant hook that went through his head. Anyway, so that's my first catch here. Whoa, on the Lanzarote. He's still alive anyway. Try and get you a better look at him there. They're kind of pretty in an ugly type of a way. Ta-ta, buddy. What a beast. Can you believe that guy, right? 6-0 hooks. I use big hooks so small fish can't get them into their mouths, but lizard fish were blessed with the biggest mouths of any fish on this planet. Even bigger than a monkfish, I bet you, comparatively. Right, so yeah, that's what he ate. So he seemed to like that, but he may be just a small fish, but it might be the start of bigger things to come. So up my head you go. Let's see if we can get something better. Okay. Well, there's no fish down deep. Maybe I'll change over to something more surface like and see if that gets me any luck. Just for the last few casts before the daylight disappears. That's what I'm going to do. And if I was a predator, I'd be feeding on the surface coming to the end of the day. So I'm going to dig deep into my bag of tricks and see what I've got in there. This guy is not doing it. Not at all. One lizard. Now, pretty though. Not doing anything good. Because it's not that the jig doesn't work, it's just no fish. So they're either not down the bottom or they're up the top, or there's none here at all. We're going to find out. So stay tuned. So I've washed this jig in fresh water, right, just to take the salt off it, right, so and dry it and put it back in the jig wallet, right. This is just tackle maintenance, if you like, so you're not constantly buying hooks or changing rusty hooks. Next time before I use it, I'll check to see if they're still sharp. They are still sharp. Give it a wash, right? Bottle of fresh water. This is what I'm going to use now, right? I got these off AliExpress. that's the name of the company. You'll go in there and find them. This is a long cast plug, and they come with hooks, but I can't be bothered with that, and the split rings. I always change both, although the ones that come with it are decent. They're just trebles. I want nothing to do with it if I can help it. I do fish with trebles on occasion. That's only because I have no other options. But this is what I've got going here. Pair of 5.0 twin assists on the tail, UV flash, that's it. And this is not a surface lure, subsurface, right? It'll fish like from the surface to 5 meters or so. That is a uni knot that I just tied there. The fish that takes this is not going to be that colossal, and that knot will do the job no problem. Yes, so the hopes is there'll be a frigate mackerel or an albacore or a palamed. They're the ones with the freaky teeth fish. And it is a fish that I would love to catch. They're just mackerel. They're all just mackerel. Fancy mackerel. So that's what I got now. They cast a long way. They're fantastic. I love them. I don't know what they're called. You'll find them on AliExpress, right? So looks like the sun is about to drop very rapidly, and it's going to be the last cast, I reckon. Let's see if it's last cast fish. So time has progressed on, and all I've had is a few touches off some fish. So this is the first day. One lizard fish. Blech. What can you do? One lizard fish. I can't leave it like that. So the next time I turn on the camera, we could be somewhere new. We might be here, but stay tuned. It's all about to kick off. Yeah. Welcome back. It is day 2 here on Lanzarote. Let's see if we can get a fish today. So up ahead you go. Yeah. So gear wise, we'll start with the rod and the reel, right? The rod is the Shimano Salty style. The reel is the Cast King Magnetron, yeah. And it's loaded with 30-pound mainline, and it's got a 50-pound fluoro mono blend leader. And on the end is one of my jigs, and it is a 90-gram speed jig, needle jig, whatever you want to call it. And it's got a pair of twin assists up the top, 6.0s, Kevlar cord, everything there produced, made by me. Yes, I made it, yeah. So here we go. In case you hadn't noticed, it is actually morning time. It's just a little bit past 7, and we're out fishing. Yeah, well, I am anyway. So is the first cast fishy? Let's find out. A tentative cast for the first one. So I'm fishing into 30 meters of water, roughly thereabouts, where that jig went. And what is around here at this time of the year in Lanzarote is pretty much everything. And of course, you know, I could put on a smaller lure and just try and catch some fish, but that's not my style. Big fish all the way to the end, if I can. And the sun is, as usual, in quite an awkward place. So I have to do it like this instead. So I'm just going to let that drop off the spool once. I fish in these jigs because they fish more efficiently in deep water than a slow jig will. So there you go. Drop that back down. Probably just a lizard fish, but there we go again. Try over this direction. don't know if it's third cast or fourth cast, I don't really care, but I only wants a fish anyway, so let's get with the fishing. Okay. There we go. Ah, yeah, we're in. Yes, about bloody time. Whoa. Ah. I could have brought the heavy gear with me. This thing is pulling, man. Ah. Ah. What have we got? No, it's a bream on that jig. Okay, well, he will also do for breakfast. I think it's a bream anyway. I don't know what it is just yet. Oh, it's a little amberjack. Yes, first one I've ever caught. Little amber. Man, they pull. I can't wait to catch a big one. At least I think it's an amberjack anyway. Oh yeah. Okay. Somebody write in the comments. I would say that is an amberjack. I've never seen one this small though. I'm not going to keep it. It's just too small. So there we go. First decent fish here. Yeah, pound and a half maybe, but I can't wait to catch a big one. They really pull. So get my guy back in the sea. See if he grow big for me. Not bad, right? Fantastic. Yeah. Nice fish. For a start anyway. No! Oh, he's alright, he's back in the sea. Not the best release in the world, but these things happen sometimes, especially when you're all over this rubbish here. You're doing several different things at once. Videoing, trying to get a fish back, and trying not to kill yourself. I will go down and check to make sure he is back. So, stay tuned. So, yes, indeed, he did go back. Otherwise, he'd be down there jammed in between a rock. And he isn't, so I'll take that as a win. Anyway, my intentions were true. So no matter what happened, I did mean the best for the fish. You know, you might think the hooks were a bit big, but that fish had absolutely no trouble getting these 6-0s into their mouths. Like a lot of these predatory fish, their mouths are bigger than their bellies, right? And that fish was no different than many others. Pretty sure it was an amberjack. Nice makeup across the eyes. I'm very happy with that. Another new species. This tour is also about getting a few new species to the list. And I would say I'm not always 100% accurate because I do most of this by memory. I would say I'm at 64 species from the shore only and intentional catches only. Not digging around in rock pools with little hooks and bits of limpets. No, this is proper fishing, right? Apart from a hagfish, and that was just because at the time I thought that they were extremely rare and I'd never heard of anybody catching one on a hook before. But rubbish fish, so I deleted that. I take that one away, and it's 64, right? So up my head you go for the second time and see if we can do something a little bit better. The last time I said a little bit better, I almost regretted it. All right, so up my head you go. That thing pulled like crazy, right? So up my head. So the catches so far, nice AJ and a lizardfish. There it goes. And down it goes. Grouper in the rocks, let's go. Yeah, I'm quite partial to a bit of grouper, so that'd be much loved. Any type. I would say they all taste pretty much the same. There's a diver there now. Man, they're mad about their octopus. I don't know what that's about, but... And everybody else that I talk to say, ah, octopus is great. I can't stand it. And rotten stuff. They'll find out it's like coriander, right? It's a genetic thing. Right, let that shoot down. Right, we got a diver, right? Something big anyway. Spanish are really good tempered. You won't be mad with me, just like, ah, oh. That was bad for me, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Oh, yeah, I watched that jig tumbling now. It's the first time I've seen it. That's no good. Shorter later. With new gear, it's always hard sometimes to find the best way to cast it, you know. And you know, these jigs, they're new to me, and I can see now it's the first time I saw the jig was tumbling when I cast with that leader, and that's for one or two reasons. Either the leader was too long, or I cast from the side like I do with smaller jigs. I would say it is actually that I cast from the side like with smaller jigs, but the heavier the jig, straight over the top like an axe you have to go with it, and that will straighten them out and stop them from tumbling. So I had a fish there. Oh, I do. That's because I do. And a really good fish too. Come on, Lanzarote. This is a better fish as well. Maybe it's that diver. Felipe be really pissed at me now. I got dinner. Maybe, I haven't landed it yet. I have to do this to myself. Oh, oh man. Wow. Ah. Wow. Wow, what is this thing? Okay, it's bigger than I thought. Wow. They see it in the water anyway. It's a mackerel of some type, I think. Line screaming action. Here he comes. Maybe. It's a nice mackerel, I think. Wow. Yep, it's a palamed. That's, or a Cerro, one or the other. I'm not sure which one it is. No, don't go in there. This is going to be tough. Yes. That's dinner, folks. Yes, 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 and a really good one too. Oh, they certainly pulled anyway. I'm going to have fun. There we go. Yes. And it's the teeth I was talking about there. You can see the teeth. That's why you got the Kevlar cord, right? So, first proper fish here in Lanzarote, and what a beast. Holy crap, they pull. So I'm gonna ikijime this fish and hang it on the tide to let it bleed out. If you want to see how to ikijime fish, I have a video, I'll link it in the description. All right, yes. Thank you very much, Lanzarote. I have ikijime to bled this fish, and now I just decided to have a look at its insides. This is its roe, so it's obviously has not spawned yet, right? So it's probably close to the time that they're spawning here. And here's its lungs, right? I'm only joking. You big eaters, right? What a fantastic fish. In fact, I'm going to weigh it without the guts, and then we get an estimate. I always forget to weigh them. My belly encourages me to get them sorted before I even think about weighing them, because the belly is more important than the picture. Right, okay, so I got it weighed. So it is in actual pounds, and I know there's not a chance you'll be able to see it because this screen is incredibly stupid. They say it's black so you can see it more easily, but I'm not so sure about that one. So we hang them up there. Maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. Right, let's see what we've got here. Oh, it's just under 4 pounds. A little bit shy of 4 pounds, right? There we go. Fantastic. Without the guts in it. So I hear a lot of people calling these tuna. They're not tuna, they're actually just mackerel. Most of these fish are actually just mackerel. And there are just a few actual real tuna. But they are related to tuna though. But they are actually mackerel. Yeah. Whoa. Fantastic. So there you go. The spoils of my toils. Yes, that's what it is. Yee-hoo. That's my dinner for tonight. So unfortunately I have to call the video right now because I have no way of refrigerating this fish out here. I have a fridge in the car and there's no way to do ice. I was out here dawn, there's no shops open, I don't have a freezer. So unfortunately this is the end of this video. Mostly I eat what I catch. So yeah, you know, I could be throwing back fish all day and then I won't get any dinner. So by the time I get it back up to the car and come back down again, it's going to be too late to fish because apparently the fishing here isn't great during the middle of the day. So I'm Billy, this is Billy Lanzarote. Wherever you are in the world, remember, I'll see you on the beach. Bye.